Good afternoon, fellow degenerates. Mickey D here for Cold Beer Sports on Wednesday afternoon. Just to share some views with you of about three horses that's, in my view, are worth having a look at in the ante-post, for two for St. Stephen's Day and one for the Welsh Grand National. I was looking at the races last night and these three sort of appealed to me. The first one is in the Roland Merrick Chase at Wetherby, Silver Hallmark. He's a horse that I tipped up for the Racing Post Gold Cup there in Cheltenham a few weeks back, but he didn't run. So he's been saved for this, I believe. He's a well-handicapped horse. He's rated 145. He won a Grade 2 readily in Haydock last January. So he was carrying a penalty then when he, in his last run in a listed chase, he was fourth to Fiddler on the Roof. And Fiddler on the Roof went on to frank that for him. He was second in the Paddy Power Gold Cup. But as well as giving him weight, he was given weight as well to a 160 rated horse he was just a nose behind, that Aspire de Rame, who ran very well, who fell at the last in Aintree last April. And he was giving him weight as well. So for him being able to give weight away and only a 7-year-old, I thought it's a very good run. 7-year-olds have a great record in this particular race in Wetherby. 4 out of the last 5 winners has been 7-year-olds. And they all have been 130, 9-2, 4-1, all well fancied. And he's 5-1 now with 365. He's 9-2 with the Green Bookie. And I think he'll go off 3-1 favourite. So for any that's interested in a bet on Monday, I think maybe you could look at that. Also on Monday in the King George, I think there's a bet there that might be worth looking at for some people. Is Lost in Translation. He's 11-1. He was pulled up in the last 2 runnings of the King George, but on both years he had ran in the Betfair Chase in Haydock, and it had knocked the stuffing out of him on heavy ground. He can't go on heavy ground. He needs good to soft, and it's going to be good to soft, no worse. I've seen the clerk of the course at Kimpton said. So I think with the ground suitable, if you look at the field, just briefly, Asterion Furlonge, like we all know about him, he likes to go right-handed, not the best of jumpers. Will he travel? Probably. Will he, travel over to the meeting? Probably. He'll travel to the race, will you? Will he make a mistake or whatever? Like you have to rely on his jumping. Chantry House then is the next one. Both of them are 7-year-olds, and 7-year-olds have a good record in this race as well as 8-year-olds, and even a 6-year-old. Clandazoba was only 6 when he won it. Clandazoba then is running 9 years of age. Won it 2 out of the last 3. One out of the 6-year-old and a 7-year-old. But he had a run in Haydock both times, or in Dunroyal. He hasn't had a run this year. They're keeping him fresh. Maybe he needs the run because he needed it the first times he ran in them races. Dashel Drasher, Frodon won it last year. He's a 9-year-old. 9-year-olds have a bad record, even though Lost in Translation is 9. Manilo Indo is 8. Probably, I think, will go off favourite and probably the most likely winner. Even though Paul Nicholas reckons that he's going to win it, but he's a good man to talk up the horses. Then you have Mr. Fisher. I don't think so. St. Calvados' first run for Paul Nicholas after leaving Whittington, and Tornado Flyer if he travels. So there's a field of 10. Now, I think Lost in Translation will definitely beat 5 of those. So that'll put him into the each-way market at, that some of them are, would say there's 10, if there's 10 running. He's 11-1. I think he's a good bet at 11-1 each way. The other horse that interests me is in the the Welsh Grand National. Captain Drake. He was 4th in it last year when he was rated 140. He's rated 132 this year. They've been very cagey with him this year. They had to get him into the race and reduce his rating, but they're nearly too clever now that he may not get in because the there's 4 or 5 that they need to come out for him to get in. I think the field is that it will be 18. It was 18 the last couple of years. I think he's about 23 or 24 in the pecking order. Nathan River is down as top weight, carrying 11 stone 12. Now he'll be slightly out of the handicap, but Brian Carver takes off 3. He may be carrying maybe £3 overweight because he'll have to carry the 10 stone at least. But he was 4th last year, and Secret Reprieve won it, and he was raised 130. Now he's 140. There's a difference of nearly a stone for about 6 lengths. So he ran in a handicap hurl recently off 137. He was just prep run, and then he was 4th of 11 in a Class 3 chase. He's been 135, and he's dropped £3. So if he gets in, he's 33 to 1. He'll go off 20s, I'd say. He was 28 to 1 last year, but only 7 years. He's only an 8-year-old. They're training specifically for the race this year, but they may hope to have outsmarted themselves by not getting in. But there's 3 that interest me. I have them backed already today, and the best of luck if you're punting.